Well, hello, and welcome to Pioneer Map. This is episode 11, and in this map we'll be doing some planting. We're going to plant oats to start with, then we've got something very exciting to show you, and after that we'll plant some soya beans. We'll give you a rundown on Illusion's health, and that'll pretty much be it for this episode. So I've leased this planter. It plants and fertilizes at the same time. Of course, we have had our fields analyzed, so we'll be able to fertilize to the exact specification that is required for the planting of oats, which is one of the big advantages of precision farming, of course, is that you really only need to fertilize once. Struggling to fill I think it's the fertilizer. Yeah, it is the fertilizer. My drone operator having a bit of fun, insisting that my antics are recorded for everybody to see and have a good little laugh over. This time, hopefully, we'll be able to fill it up. So the top third of the field, closest to the allotments, is where I'm going to plant the oats. Then I'll leave a little bit of a gap, and pretty much the next month I'll plant soya beans. We leave that little bit of a gap just so that we know exactly where to harvest, and it doesn't confuse the harvester, because sometimes with the scripts on here, if you have the crops too close together, then it won't harvest because it gets confused about which product it should be harvesting. Right, so that's all sealed up. Let's get up to the top there and get going. Animals are looking okay. Kenzie's been fed this morning. The allotments are looking quite nice. And we'll try and get as close to the edge as we can. There's a bit of an interesting development when it comes to planting. It would appear that the grass that has been planted here is actually one massive big field, because the planter will actually plant, in other words, the field that I've created doesn't have any boundaries at this point in time, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose. It means we don't really need to plough, but of course it does create a bit of irregularity in the fields, as you'll see when we get to the end of this pass. Not quite sure how I'm going to handle that in the future. I'll have to think about it. I'm pretty sure that it won't, like the subsoiler, it won't take out the bushes, so there'll still have to be some ploughing left. So I might just, for practical purposes, actually still plough up a basic field. See, so we've got all that little extra space going there now, which is actually planted. The problem is that little area will grow weeds. Well, we're just about finished. this little section. We'll leave it here after this pass, and in the rest of the field we'll plant with soya beans, of course. Let's go and park this up. So we've leased this machine, but we'll keep it for the next day or month, because it would be cheaper just to pay the extra day's higher cost than take it back and have to rehire it. I've tried to do this over 2 different days stroke months so that it's a little bit easier for the harvesting as well. And it just gives us a little bit of a spread of product. You're going to have to think about getting some silos to store the grain in, but we can worry about that. Now, some major developments. I'm going to show you the housing that we've created for the allotment workers. Don't know whether you caught a glimpse of it. We're actually in April now, so we're in the next day, and off camera we created allotment housing. It's going to have a little bit of a closer look. Plus get with some cutting as well, so we might be able to get some more silage going, but we'll worry about that after we finish the planting. Get down here. So we've managed to source a lot of reclaimed timber, which we've created the housing, and also some reclaimed logs. So a bit of recycling going on as well. The timber's all been checked and treated to make sure that there's no woodworm and such like in it. And I think they've come out rather nice. We've tried to do a couple of different designs just to make it not look like a concentration camp or something like that. But we have to balance off living area and working area. And I think there's enough space for people to enjoy their houses. Log cabins are pretty nice. Put some lighting up so that people don't have to stumble around in the dark. Can pretty much walk down to work. And we've put in a convenience store, which of course is going to help with a bit of employment as well. As you can see, some staff needed. And then we've made a little recreation area on the corner where the allotment holders' children can have a bit of a play. Got a little bit of a barbecue area in the middle. People can sit and socialize. And I think it's a nice start to the community. Still haven't got any idea of the names. If anybody's got any ideas, please pop them down in the comments and we'll see what we come up with. Right, so we've got the soya seed loaded up. We'll leave that little gap in the between the oats, which has already come up. So that's growing. Things are on the up, as they say. Right, so we'll get this organized, get set up. I'm not sure how much of a gap I'm going to leave, but leave a little bit of a gap just so that we know exactly where everything is and we don't confuse any machinery as we go down the line. There we go, let's go. Seems to be pulling a little bit to the left. A bit like a drunken driver at the moment. Come on. Try and get this thing straight. That's a bit better. Right, so we'll catch up with you again when we're just about finished. There we go. Probably this pass and another pass, and the planting will be done. Yeah, so soya, I try to get the crop yield as high as possible, because it's a fairly sparse crop compared to something like oats, which you get a lot of per hectare, where soya, just naturally you don't get as much per hectare or acre. Can't remember what we're working with in hectares or acres here, but so what I try and do is I concentrate on things like soya more on the yield than the environmental factors. I try and get the yield as close to 100% yield, which should be probably about 125% or so on this field. So let's have a check and see where we are at the moment on this one. Oh, don't have the field info on. Let's switch that on quickly. There we go. There we go. So we're at 98 of 100% in this area. Of course, because of precision farming, it varies. So this is probably the sandy loam area, because the yield is only 100%. I know there's other places where it's 125% on this field. Hopefully I can show that to you somewhere along the line. But we're still 2% short, and that's probably because we need to roll the field. So what we'll do is we'll go and lease a roller. We'll take this back now. We don't need it again until next season, or we create a new field. There we go. We've hired a roller. Once again, please like and subscribe. It does help me, as I've said before. So we've got the old roller out. We'll give this field a bit of a roll. I'm just going to do the headland on this one, and I've got a youngster from the town who's keen to learn, and I've given him a bit of training on the tractor, and we'll let him fill in the gaps as such, and we'll see how well he does at the end. We'll just do the headland so he knows where to go and squares him off nicely. I do like this roller. It's a bit narrow, but I find it a bit easier because it connects directly to the tractor, so turning circle a bit bigger. I don't have much of a problem with that, but much easier for me to control. It just zooms along. There are wider ones, but they're much more expensive. This is bang for buck, as they say, is pretty good. And I mean, this field is fairly big, but it's not huge. It's not like it's going to take hours to do with this roller. I feel I can just do the headlands much easier and much more effectively. It's also easier for the youngster that I'm going to let do the rest of the field once I've done the headlands. Much easier for him to learn on this roller than one of the massive ones that require a bit of expertise to line up and turn around. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of a gap between the two fields. Not huge, but enough to be pretty defined. I don't think we rolled the oats field, if I remember correctly. I think I planted it late in the day and just kind of ran out of time. But with this field, I really want to push the yield as much as I can. It's always a balance between the precision farming and the ecological effects and yield. A little bit of a balancing act needs to be performed, I find. So we jumped out there. So you see around here we're looking at 125% is the yield potential. At the moment we're sitting at 122. So I would imagine that we should get to 124 to 125 on this field, on this section. Close to, I suppose, 99, maybe even 100% on the bottom part where the yield is 100%. So this is going to be a pretty productive field, really. So the soybean will be sold directly, so this is purely for profit. The oats, some of it will be kept for Illusion, and I have a bit of news on Illusion. As you can tell by the little giveaway there that I'm going to be keeping some oats for him. He is back, but we'll let you have a look at him once I've got the worker started. When I say he's a youngster, he's about 20 years old compared to me, a real youngster. But you've got to bring them in. It's good to see somebody. I mean, he approached me and said, "Can I get some work for him? Can I teach him?" So over time, we will utilize him. He is at college, so I won't have him all the time. So it will be on a part-time basis, but we'll pay him reasonably well. Well, should I say we'll pay him well? Let's not say we'll pay him reasonably well. We'll pay him as a fair wage. Right. Okay, young man. I'll get it lined up for you and away you can go. There we go. We'll see you. Give me a call on the mobile when you're done, and we'll come and see what's up. Well, let's just pop down. Just going to go have a quick look at Illusion, and there he is. All good. Health is back at 100%. He's looking good. We'll take him out for a little trot. Give him his daily exercise. Yeah, I'm really happy. It wasn't too bad an injury. He just had to have a bit of rest, bit of strapping. He was only in the hospital for a couple of hours, really. They put him back into his field. Alright, the young man's finished. Let's go and have a look. So there's a couple of spots he missed. He said he didn't want to. He struggled a little bit to turn here, so yeah, that's no problem. That's not that much, really. We'll just patch it up. There's another little bit at the end over there. But overall, not a bad job done by the young man. We'll use him again. Can only get better. There we go. said he was worried about going into the silo here. It will be a fermenting silo. In any case, we'll call it a day there. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. As usual, in the next episode, we'll continue with our development of this community. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.